Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to another Ancient Empires faction overview. Today we are going to be looking at the Kingdom of Armenia, or I guess the faction of Armenia. It's just labeled Armenia, not the Kingdom of or anything of that nature. But let's hop right down into the troops. This is a very nice faction that has some very nice troops in it. Let's jump right on in. As you can see, we have two generals right off the bat. Armenian Nakhla, our swordsman. These guys are going to be heavy melee, excellent morale, excellent armor value. Their charge value is not all that great, but their offense, defense, armor, and morale are all above 12, or all at 12 or above, which makes them a very heavy-duty unit. Now, they are capped at 5, which means we will see these guys in the melee infantry section. So it would be... it just depends on what you want to do with it, but I would honestly keep these guys as swordsmen rather than use a general's unit. And that's just because I'm biased, because we have Armenian Royal Cataphracts. Very heavy shot cav. These guys are absolutely epic, and they look absolutely gorgeous. They have a charge value of 20, which is ridiculously high. Melee offense and defense is, of course, not ever going to be very high, but still good. Their armor value is at 16, which is absolutely superb, and they have a very high morale rating. They, of course, inspire their allies, and they actually do have a ranged attack, which makes them deadly in more areas than just as a shot cav. You can place them outside some units, and you can pepper them for just a little bit, and then go in for the charge and absolutely wreck them. Going down to spear infantry, we have Armenian levies. These guys are pretty poor. They do have a very low charge value and melee offense. Their melee defense is actually pretty high. Armor value of 5 isn't that bad, and a morale of 6 still isn't that bad either. Kurdish spearmen, they have a charge value of even less. These are an area of recruitment unit, by the way, just to let you know. Melee defense is set at 13, which is pretty high. So while they don't have the best morale, armor value, or anything like that, they probably still could hold the line for at least a little while you set up some sort of counter attack. We have Mercenary Galatians. We've seen these guys before. Ammunition at 3. These are spear infantry, but they've been given quite a bit of ranged value. Their ranged offense is at 10, which is very nice. Missile range at 70 is pretty standard. Melee offense and defense are actually pretty high for this unit. Melee defense at 15 is actually really good. Their armor value isn't that great, but they do have a good morale set at 10. And then last but not least, we have Armenian Cataphracts. These guys are going to be some heavy spear infantry, and while they don't have a good charge value, their melee defense at 18 is some of the highest you'll see for a spear infantry unit. Not to mention their armor value is pretty decent at 8, and they have a morale value of 10. So these guys are not going to rout very easily. Down to melee infantry, we have Mercenary Galatians. We have seen these guys before. These guys have a pretty high offensive and defensive rating. Their armor value at 11 is pretty high, as well as their morale at 10. These guys are going to be some pretty solid mercenary troops that you can use for some melee infantry. We have Armenian Romanized infantry. These guys are basically going to be the same as your Mercenary Galatians, with the exception that they do have some increased melee defense. Next up, we have Armenian Nakhla swordsmen. These guys are going to be the same guy as the generals. These guys are going to be very, very heavy duty to use. You'll want them either on the outskirts of your columns, or outskirts of your rows, I guess, or anywhere where you're really going to want to bog down the enemy, to wreck them quite well, and things of that nature. So I recommend using all 5 of these if you can. They are quite expensive at 789 talents, but it'll be worth it. And then last but not least, we have some Mercenary Galatians. These Mercenary Galatians are actually going to be pretty sweet units. They have a rather high charge value, especially for melee infantry. High offense and defense value. Their armor is actually high too, despite looking like half-naked troops. And they have a morale value of 11, so a pretty good heavy-duty mercenary unit. You are going to pay a pretty penny for them. Down to our ranged, we have a very limited range. We have Armenian archers. They have a pretty good amount of ammo. Their ranged offense is actually decently high for some light bow infantry. Their missile range at 160 is par, and that's pretty standard. Charge value is poor, offense and defense is poor. Armor value is meh, and a morale of 5 really isn't that bad for some light bow infantry. Armenian Slingers, these guys have max ammo. Their ranged offense is not that great. They do have a higher missile range, though. Charge value of 2, offense, defense are poor. Armor value and morale set at 5, which is pretty standard across all ranged units. Now, Armenian Slingers are actually pretty surprising. They have an ammunition 4, their ranged offense is high, their missile range is par for a skirmisher unit, their charge value is poor, their melee offense is actually surprisingly okay. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Their melee defense is at 10, which is very surprising for a light skirmisher unit. Armor value at 5 and morale at 6 is all pretty standard. Now, where the Armenians really shine and what I'm really excited to use them for in battle, we have Armenian Cataphracts. These guys are going to be the mounted version of those melee infantry troops you saw, or vice versa. The ground troops are going to be just dismounted Armenian Cataphracts. They have a charge value of 9, which is really nice. Offense and defense at 8 is still pretty good for a heavy melee unit. Armor value at 9, and then a morale at 13, which is going to be very high. What I'm most excited for, though, are these two guys. Cappadocian Cavalry. You're capped out at 3 per army. They are an area of recruitment troop. They have an excellent charge value at 18. Melee offense and defense are actually surprisingly okay, considering that they're shot cav. Armor value of 12 is very good, and morale value of 11 is amazing. And then you have your Armenian Cataphracts. These guys are just going to wreck the field. They just really, really are. And combined with that, like I said, with that range unit, you have so many possibilities that you can use. And as well as the Cappadocian Cav, they do have a ranged attack as well. Let's get down to the bow cavalry. We have Armenian horse archers. They're going to have a high amount of ammunition. Their ranged offense is actually really high. A ranged offense of 5 for a bow cav is going to be very good. Their missile range at 160 means that they can stay the standard length that regular archers can. They don't need to be up close into the battle. A charge value of 2 is not surprising. That's pretty low. Offense and defense are actually okay for a bow cav. Armor value of 9 is pretty good. And then your morale value of 9, while lower, is still going to be alright. And then you have your mercenary Scythian horse archers. The only real difference between the two is a slightly higher charge value, a decently higher melee defense value, and then their morale suffers as a result of that, though. Now, both the bow cav can shoot while they're moving, and they can also shoot in any direction. Makes them a very good skirmisher unit, that they can go in, shoot, and get out, and still be able to shoot as they're getting out. That's very crucial. And then last but not least, we have some Armenian Zots. These guys are going to be skirmisher cav. They have a very high ranged offense. Ranged offense at 10 is pretty good. Missile range of 80 is alright. It's really not bad. It's a little bit more than regular skirmishers. Charge value is, of course, going to be poor. Melee offense is going to be poor. Melee defense at 11 is actually pretty good for some skirmisher cav, and armor value of 7 is as well. And then the morale at 10 is going to be pretty decent. Alright guys, well that is it for the Armenian overview. Let's get down into the battle, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Alright everybody, welcome to the battle with Armenia. We've got a pretty epic battle that I think will probably satisfy a lot of you. I hope so anyways. Let's get down to the army comps per usual, and then we will continue into the battle. Now, we are playing against Galatia. I just want to say that right off the bat. So we'll kind of go over what they have. I will note that we are looking at close to 11,000 people. Ew, that's a lot of people, and we are very heavily outnumbered, but I still think our cab will win the day, and we'll be good from there. So let's start in the middle here. I've got 4 sets of these columns, essentially, or these groups. So I have a unit of Mercenary Galatians on the right flank of all of the troops. Now, these guys do look really cool. I like how the Galatians look. It's funny that we're playing against the Galatians, but that's pretty standard. I think Mercenary Galatians are going to be primarily in a lot of these, especially in this region. So no need to worry about that there. Next up in that middle part, we got the Armenian Cataphracts. Well, still difficult words to say. These guys do look really cool, though. Those shields really do make them look pretty sweet. Those guys like looking up at something. Like, hey, what's up there? Don't worry about those birds. Don't worry about those birds. They aren't going to get you. Alright, and then over here on the left flank of every group are some Armenian Nakrar swordsmen. So hopefully these guys will really be able to hold the lines and be able to fight off the waves of troops that are coming at us. So we have 4 sets of those, and I have a set in the back for my reserves, should everything fall to pieces. Over here on our left flank, I actually forgot to actually put my general over here, so he will have to go. Whoop. But we have 4 sets of Armenian horse archers. These guys are probably going to do some pretty good work. They better anyways. I do like their saddles. Their saddles are pretty sweet. And they're not your typical standard saddles like we think of right off the bat. And then, of course, my Armenian Royal Cataphracts for a general. These Armenian Cataphracts look sweet. They look deadly, too. I mean, absolutely ferocious. With those masks over them, the chainmail or the mail, that armor just looks really, really good. They do a really good job with the textures with this mod as well. Alright, so we got that guy behind him. We have our other Armenian Naklar Cataphracts. These guys just look deadly. I mean, they just really, really do. Really, really do. And then we're going to go over here to our right side where we have 4 units of mercenary Scythian horse archers. Look at that horned helmet. I like that. I don't know that I've ever seen that helmet before. Very well done, very well done. Behind them we have Armenian Nakhlars. These guys are heavy melee troops. And they're heavy melee cav, and they will do some work. And then behind them we have some Cappadocian cavalry. These guys will also do quite a bit of work. Hopefully all of our cav combined can really take on this overwhelming amount of troops. Let's take just a quick look. I know we usually don't, but I just want to point out some things. I purposely did not give them a lot of cav. I wanted us to have the cav advantage because this is a cav heavy faction. And I especially wanted to see those cataphracts shine in all of their glory. So there are a limited number of cav. That isn't to say there aren't a lot. There's 6 units. That's still quite a bit. And they just have a whole bunch of infantry and spear units. And it's going to be their elite spear units as well. So it will still give us a challenge. I'm not just going to blow it off and say, hey, we're going to win this because I want to win this and make it easy. We're still going to very much face a challenge with this. So let's go ahead and start. Yep, I hit the play button without saying we're starting. Let's go ahead and move you guys up into more open territory. Let's take out those light horse because they're kind of skirmisher cav. Then I'm actually going to drop my Cappadocian cav over here. Bring in my cataphracts. We could see if you could hide in that section for now. We finally have our melee cav, and I'm not quite sure. I think I am going to put them over here. Just because most of their cav is over there. Here we go. The dust pack that I have been given, which is custom made by the developers, is working quite nicely. I do like it. Just adds that cinematic value to battles and stuff. It just really... Hey there, what's up? What is going on? Micromanaging so much cav is a very interesting thing to do. Let's go ahead and actually we'll do spear phalanx. I think would probably be good. No, we'll do brace spears. That seems to have a wider effect. Let's go ahead and get those Cappadocian spears. We are wrecking their cav, which of course is to be expected. Again, we just got to rout them. Let's go after those guys. Alright, so we've routed that side as well. And now the real fun begins. Yay! Okay, so we've really got to work and make sure that we can take everyone on. They are limiting their engagement with my infantry, which is a really interesting tactic. Cappadocian Cav, come on. I really haven't seen a whole lot of withholding from the AI thus far, which is, I mean, it's pretty typical. These guys are separated, though. They're not grouped together. We should just be able to plow through them. Yep, look at that. We are absolutely wrecking them. I mean, just look at that dust. That dust is really, really solid. And we really got to get our cav out of there. 1, get out of there. What is this, 5? You get out of there as well. We really need to bring our troops up. And they're really not getting on this side, so we're going to fold them in over here. And then we could actually do the same over here. Yeah, they're really pushing just one side. Did I lose a set? I did lose a unit of Cappadocian Cav. There they go. That Cav on Cav should not last very long. Let's get some slow-mo action into here. We haven't really focused a lot on Cav to Cav action. Well, there we go. I mean, those Cappadocians should just wreck those light skirmishers. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Die. Oh, hey, you stabbed at nothing. Congratulations. Sweet. Well, we've routed another unit then. Let's go ahead and drop the reinforcements over on this side. And then we're going to wreck... Oh, here we go. Galatian Naked Fanatics. And I was not paying attention to my Scythian... or my horse archers. Those are my Armenian horse archers. Wreck them up! Let's get our general in the battle. We have a solid enough front line to be able to handle that. I'm actually going to go over here because we can outrun these dudes all day, every day. We just have to make sure that we're paying close enough attention, and we are wrecking. We're wrecking their back line, so let's go ahead and get some close-ups into here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that dust mod just makes everything look very nice. I just like it. I like the dust. Not so much of that happening over here, though. These guys are actually holding the line pretty stinking well. Let's see how they are. Oh, yeah, they're fresh. They're fine. Here we go. We're holding that line pretty well. We've routed those guys. Let's go after those ranged units. Oh, wow. These guys are fast. This Galatian chieftain. He is one very fast little dude. Once we rout all of their ranged, that's when we are going to shine, and we are going to get into some back charging and things of that nature, and it's really gonna look gorgeous with these guys, with the Cataphracts. Oh wow, okay, so 3 units. Let's go ahead and just put him on skirmish mode, and let's hit play as well. Yeah, these guys are going to get wrecked. All of them are. Come on, get in there. I just love seeing cav charges. They're just so beautiful. You're going to get absolutely wrecked. Get wrecked, son. Just plow through all of those troops. Oh my word. Everyone's dead. Everyone's just dead. I mean, look, that's an instant rout. Every time they charge into a unit of ranged, it's just an instant rout. Guaranteed. Draw that back line again. You guys are shooting at him, so that's good. Now we have a free opportunity here. There we go. Get those Cappadocian cav to rout those guys. Alright, sweet. Now it is time for my favorite part of the battle. My favorite part of the day in each episode is just being able to hound on the opponent. Give them a nice little morale debuff. That Warcry does a -5, which against that Galatian Spear Wall, their morale is still at 8. That's just really interesting. So we're going to set up, and then we're just going to do an absolutely epic charge into the back of all of our troops. Of all of their troops, I should say. Except for right here, where they are doing that just dandy themselves. There are still plenty of units. We're just going to get set up, and then we will absolutely demolish them. Again, I purposefully set us up to where we would win the cav engagement, so I could really see, look at how bloody these guys are. Are we ready? Are we ready? We are. Okay, slow motion all of this. Because it's gonna be epic. Let's actually turn around. They've broken my line right there. But all of these cav engagements that I'm about to engage in should pretty much wreck the Galatians' day. Let's get that going. Absolutely epic. Oh my word, all across the board. Look at that. Look at that. Just so much charging. And then these guys are going to hit into those troops. I love it when they lay down those spears getting ready for that charge. It is just glorious. Get wrecked, naked fanatics. Alright, let's get that overlay off. I can't believe they're still whittling him down. There we go. Look at that. That charge really just did a number on him. We're going to actually pull back already. And we're going to cycle charge him. We could actually just go ahead and get rid of those last of the ranged. But yeah, they are pretty much going to all instant rout. We're going to reform a line here. Reform a line here. Engage these Galatian free warband. Hit those Galatian noble warband in the back. And again, it's just going to be rinsing and repeating because we have that ability. There we go. They're not going to stand a chance. Get away from me. Now, I know they're Cataphracts, and they probably honestly could win the day. pretty quickly. There we go. There we go. Instant chain routing across the board. You can go ahead and charge those Galatian spear walls. Do it. Do it. Lay down those spears. You didn't lay down those spears. What the crap? That's alright. Well, guys, that will be the end of the battle. Decisive victory. So again, I will emphasize that I purposefully gave us way more cav than they had, knowing we would win that and knowing that we could do exactly what we did, because I really just wanted to show off the amazingness that these cav units did. Now, somehow this guy got 0 kills. Oh, because he routed, that's right. So look at that, 402 kills, 293, 328, 198. These guys did absolute work. That's not to say that our infantry didn't. Those Armenian swordsmen did really well. Even our Kentronicon, Armenian Kentronicon, they actually did very well too. So guys, I hope you enjoy the Armenians. I very much enjoyed playing as them. And yeah. If you enjoyed this battle, enjoyed the overview, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be on the lookout for the next Ancient Empires faction overview. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!